Greetings to judges, fellow opponents, and the audiences. My name is Trần, Ngọc, and Khuê. I study in class 10A3, and today I will talk about this topic. So, in the age of artificial intelligence, who is the true author of art? There are moments when we stand in front of a painting, a piece of music, and feel as if our soul is illuminated by the light of an invisible artist. And art is also the echo of the heart, the breath of humanity, and the place where people can find their pain, joy, and inspirations. However, today, in the age of AI, machines have begun to speak because art is not only drawn by human hand. So there is a challenging question. So, if art is the soul, then whose soul does it belong to? Is it the person who enters the command, or the developer who developed the tool, or the AI itself? The unconscious entity that can create beauty. This is not only a legal issue, but also a measure of morality, justice, and of our own identity. So, let me introduce about the table of contents. So firstly, we will explain the terms. The first argument will be the legal and ethical matter. The second argument will be the intention of creating art. And I will talk about the contrary opinions as well as the possible solutions, and then we will move to the conclusion. So firstly, we begin by clarifying the terms. So art is the intentional, creative expression intended to communicate or to move, whether through image, sound, or word. Author is the agent to whom we attribute the creative origin to, the intention and responsibility. And AI is the system that generates the new content by learning patterns from large data sets and recombining them. And AI-created art is the term that includes works created entirely by the AI system, or co-created by both humans and AI. So, what is the main issue here? So firstly, the core legal issue here is that the author, yes, it is a legal issue, and also when we look into the ethical aspect, we can see that if we consider AI the author, then we ignore the human efforts and ideas which are the AI are learned, they learn, the knowledge is based on many millions of artists' work, real artists' work. So if we give the title of an author to an AI system, we clearly erase the credit of the artists out there. Yeah. And so let's move on to the first argument, legal matter. So the author is attached to consciousness and responsibility, and AI simply can't. So authors not only have rights, but also have responsibilities. They are responsible for the content, message, and social consequences. So a work of art can inspire, it can also incite hatred from the society. So the writer is responsible for that. And AI cannot go to court because it has no legal personhood, it is unconscious, and it cannot bear any responsibility to operate and create. Therefore, only humans, the subjects with the intention of creating, can be author's name to ensure the social and legal responsibility. Secondly, the right and fairness of the affected artist. So AI is trained on a huge database from millions of artists. Each work in that database carries the human creativity, and if AI is considered along the author, then the artist's efforts and intentions are erased, and rights must be linked to contributions. So the real artist created the intention, but the AI just recreated it. So therefore, justice requires us to protect the rights of artists instead of giving the title of to an ignorant system. Fairness cannot give titles to a machine while real artists are forgotten. Now let's move on to the second argument, intention. So, art is not just a tangible product, but it is actually a creative intention. So it is a deliberate choice to express thoughts, emotions, messages, and but AI can create images, right? But it doesn't know why it is drawing or has any purpose. So because of the lack of attention, AI products are just data which cannot be considered true art. So AI can simulate these techniques but lacks the inner necessity that gives them the weight, and it can feel anything. So the message here is from the human condition. Why? Because, for example, a mural on the city wall speaks to its community, and a novel will reflect the struggles of its time. But these words are not isolated; they're embedded in human lives and histories and futures. So AI can assist, imitate, but it cannot own the message and the idea itself, because the message is programmed from the human condition, and all these intentionality is rooted in consciousness and lived reality that AI cannot ever replicate. So now I'll talk about the contrary opinion. So some people will say that the person entering the order doesn't draw every stroke, so why do we call them the author? So my answer will be, architects don't build every brick themselves. Directors don't shoot every scene themselves. But they are still authors because they bring the ideas and the messages. AI is just an execution tool, like a piano or a camera. It can create sounds or images, but it don't know why it has to create them. So the meaning still comes from the people. And now the possible solutions for this problem. So in the fast pace of life in this modern world, we still have to have some practical solutions to cope with the change. And so I will give some recommendations. So firstly, primary human authorship. So when humans frame the project and bears the responsibility, we should attribute the primary authorship to them. So we can do that by using clear credits such as created by artists using the tool, and describe the creative decisions that is made by only the AI to recognize its contribution. Secondly, another special case is only machine generated. So when models produce the highly autonomous output. So even in those cases, human guidance is minimal, and the model's internal dynamics produce the novelty. So we can label the work as machine generated with explicit data. So this avoids erasing the machine's creative agency while still preserving the social clarity about accountability. Yes, and also we need to have some categories such as like technologies and publishers should adopt and refine categories like human author, human directed, or AI assisted, and machine generated. So each category should carry the corresponding rules for copyright, attribution, and liability. This is just for our own good. Also, there are some practical recommendations too. So for artists, whenever they create artworks, they need to note down the prompts, the process, and the edits to preserve the artistic integrity, and so that they can be protected against the later dispute about the originality. And for policymakers, they need to have the statutes that allocate rights by degree of human authorship and protect the original creators. And for audiences, they need to learn and enhance their knowledge of not only the aesthetic effects, but also the provenance and process. So let's think about it. In the future, here's a small example of an AI image generator. So you can see the prompts here. So they can type in the command, and the AI system will generate the image exactly like they want. And I have a small quiz for you guys. So can you guys tell me which is the quality needed for creating art? First, creativity. Second, knowledge. Third, authorial intention. Fourth, excellence and responsibility. So, as I mentioned before, the correct answer is authorial intention, because without the intention, it cannot be considered true art. And maybe machines will draw even prettier everything, and even write music that will shake the world. But remember, the beauty lies not only in its form, but in the soul that is embedded in it. If art is a mirror that reflects humanity, then in that mirror, the humans must still be present. We can let AI become the new palm tree, the new guitar, but we cannot let it replace the heart. And artificial art can open the door to the future, but the key to get through the door must still be in the human hands. In the AI era, I want to leave a last question for everyone. So, do we want art to be the voice of machines, or still the echo of human soul? Thank you for listening.